Have you heard the saying, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps? Originally meaning to improve your situation by your own efforts, in tech it has come to mean a self-starting process that loads and goes. We need to tell Angular to load our root component through a process that's called bootstrapping. And we need to set up the index.html file to host our application. Let's look at both of these steps. Most Angular applications have an index.html file that contains the main page for the application. This index.html file is often the one true web page of the application. Hence, an application is often called a single-page application, or SPA. But don't worry, it will look to the user like we have lots of pages, as we saw in the demo at the beginning of this course. What we do is insert bits of HTML into the one HTML page defined in index.html. Let's see how that works. Here again is our app component, just shifted to the right. Recall that the selector is the name of the component when we use it as a directive in HTML, and the template defines the HTML that we want to display. So in the index.html file, we simply add the selector where we want our template displayed. Here in the template, we call this a directive. A directive is basically a custom element. When the root element is loaded, the loading app message appears. As soon as the loading is complete, the HTML defined in the component template is inserted between the selector element tags and appears on the page. So, we have the index.html file set up to host the application by specifying the selector from the root component as a directive somewhere in the body. But how is the module loader going to find our root component? Recall from the last module that we configured system.js, our module loader, in index.html to begin by importing a module called main. That is our bootstrapper module, and it looks like this. The main.ts file bootstraps our first component, providing a starting point to kick off our application. Let's read this file from the bottom up. Here we call a bootstrap function. This function loads our first module, which is our app component. We have to define where the module loader can find our app component, so we add an import statement to import app component from our module. Since we are using Angular's bootstrap function here, we also add an import statement for it. We import it from Angular 2/platform/browser. It is not a part of Angular 2 core because the bootstrap features are different depending on the platform. We plan to run the application in a browser, so we import it from Angular 2/platform/browser. So this code provides the starting point for our application. Once we've bootstrapped our root application component, we can leave the main.ts file and never look upon it again. Now let's add this to our sample application and see the bootstrapping process in action.